Trump's second major U-turn? Washington has now extended its Russian oil waiver for another 30 days. The US is quietly easing restrictions on Russian oil as Trump pauses plans for new strikes against Iran. Amid Strait of Hormuz chaos, the Trump administration is banking on Russian crude to calm global energy markets.
Well, other countries have come to me and they've said we were getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I put it off for a little while. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days.
The United States has extended a sanctions waiver allowing trade in Russian seaborne oil for another 30 days. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced the waiver extension on X on May 18th. Washington had earlier allowed the Russian oil sanctions waiver to lapse before renewing it again. Scott Bessent said, and I quote, U.S. Treasury is issuing a temporary 30-day general license to provide the most vulnerable nations with the ability to temporarily access Russian oil currently stranded at sea. This extension will provide additional flexibility, and we will work with these nations to provide specific licenses as needed. This general license will help stabilize the physical crude market and ensure oil reaches the most energy-vulnerable countries. It will also help reroute existing supply to countries most in need by reducing China's ability to stockpile discounted oil. The move follows requests from several countries seeking more time to continue oil purchases. The waiver allows temporary access to Russian oil stranded on tankers despite existing U.S. sanctions. Washington introduced the exemption after Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz during the regional war. Officials said the move aims to ease global oil supply concerns and stabilize rising energy prices. The exemption was first introduced in March to reduce oil supply disruptions triggered by tensions involving Iran. Despite the waiver extension, gasoline prices across the United States have remained elevated amid market instability. Meanwhile, Donald Trump announced he was postponing a planned large-scale attack against Iran. Trump said he had decided to delay fresh attacks after requests from regional leaders across the Middle East. The revelation came amid reports suggesting that a new phase of Iran war action could begin within the next 24 to 48 hours. The US president first made the announcement on Truth Social and later repeated it during a media interaction.
Can you speak a little bit about your post on Truth Social on Iran and what was the decision that why you didn't attack it?
Well, other countries have come to me and they've said we were getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I've put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran. And we'll see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that, where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also. We've informed Israel. We've informed other people in the Middle East that have been involved with us. And, it's a very positive development, but we'll see whether or not it amounts to anything. We've had periods of time where we thought pretty much getting close to making a deal, and it didn't work out, but this is a little bit different. Now, we're ready going tomorrow, very big, and not something I wanted to do, but we have no choice because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
Follow up on Iran. Other countries have done this before. They have asked you to change course in order to they dangled a peace deal in front of you saying one was coming. Nothing has come into fruition. You mentioned this.
Well, a lot's come into fruition. We've taken a country that was going to have a nuclear weapon, and we've virtually destroyed its military. They have no navy. They have no air force. They've been virtually destroyed militarily. That's a lot. That's a big, we could leave right now. It would take them 25 years to rebuild. And the last thing they're thinking about, I think, is nuclear. Now they have to put it down in writing. But when you say nothing, we've totally destroyed, from CNN, we've totally destroyed their military. We've destroyed their leadership. As you know, their leaders are gone. Their leaders are gone at the first level. The second level, we're dealing with half of the third level. And I think we've made a lot of progress. And it's very simple. We don't want to go through this. We had the greatest economy ever. We still do. The stock market had a brand new high a little while ago. I never thought that was going to happen. We had to make the excursion. We hit 50,000 on the Dow. We had 7,000 on the S&P, and everyone said that couldn't be done within my 4 years. It would be too big. Well, we did it in my first year. And then I called Scott and Howard. I called them all into my office. I said, we're going to take a little excursion down to the Middle East, and we're going to confront Iran because they are desperate to have a nuclear weapon. And the only reason they want it is to use it. And I said, I hate to do this because we're doing so well, but this is the most important thing we can do. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So we did that. And when we did that, we were met with a little force, and we ended up destroying them. We now have a tremendous, we built really a steel wall where no boats, the blockade, where no boats are able to, not one boat has been able to get through our blockade. Look, our military is the greatest military anywhere in the world. I just left China, and I will say President Xi was very, very complimentary of our military. He was amazed, actually, at our military. We have the greatest military in the world. We're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So I was called by these three countries, plus others, and they're dealing directly with our people and, right now, Iran. And there seems to be a very good chance that they can work something out. If we can do that without bombing the hell out of them, I'd be very happy.
A senior Iranian MP has reportedly warned the UAE against working too closely with the US and Israel. The former IRGC commander reportedly dismissed the UAE as lacking independent power, according to Iran International. Kausari said the UAE had only been able to act against Iran with backing from the US and Israel. Ismail Kausari said, and I quote, "If the UAE continues cooperating with the US and Israel against us, we will confront them more forcefully." Unquote.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.